Educate a child, educate a nation. This saying underscores the importance of education to the development of any nation. It is often the key to gaining knowledge, and of course, knowledge is wealth. Education helps to create a conducive environment for socio-economic growth and infrastructural development. It also leads to employment generation, thereby reducing crime in the society, amongst many other advantages. Of a truth, education has no substitute. This is the reason why the government of Senator Ibikunle Amusun has taken provision of affordable and qualitative education to its people, a task that must be done. Thus, the various efforts that are being put in place since the administration came into power to turn around the face of this all-important sector and to restore the glory of education to its enviable status in Ogun State. From time immemorial, Ogun State has been in the forefront of education in Nigeria. Many prominent personalities, as well as notable educationists who have contributed at one time or the other to the growth of this country, hail from Ogun State. However, over time, the standard of education in the state took a downturn. In order to redress this situation, when Senator Ibikunle Amusun took over the mantle of leadership as the executive governor of Ogun State, he made education first on the list of his administration's 5 cardinal programs towards the realization of the Mission to Rebuild agenda. The first step taken in this direction was to make education in state-owned primary and secondary schools free. This was followed by addressing the issue of school structures. This is aimed at providing a conducive environment for learning. Another giant step taken by the governor was the provision of writing and instructional materials for pupils and students in all public primary and secondary schools in the state to aid smooth and efficient learning. In addition to that, about 2 billion naira was spent for the purchase and distribution of textbooks on all subjects taught in all government-owned schools. This has made teaching and learning in all of these schools easier. Teachers now teach with ease, and pupils and students can easily grasp what they're being taught. A better and more serene environment for learning has also been made possible through the intervention of SUBEB. Over 3.2 billion naira has been spent on intervention in all primary schools across the state. It is an ongoing process. The intervention has brought succor to many of these schools, leading to decongestion of classrooms and thereby making it convenient for learning. There is also the provision of tables and chairs in the classrooms, which makes it comfortable for every child to learn with. Furthermore, teachers and principals are being trained under the State Universal Basic Education Program SUBEB. This was made possible by the payment of 1.6 million naira by the state government. The hurdle of sending one's child to school has been totally eliminated by all the great innovations and interventions of the Senator Ibikunle Amusun-led administration. In the efforts to ensure that educational standards are adhered to, a unified examination system was introduced. The Ministry of Education ensures proper and periodical monitoring of the examination to make sure that all laid down rules are being adhered to.
Well, from the schools that we visited, I can see at least a lot of seriousness on the part of the students. Where they have finished their first paper, we could see some children already preparing for the next paper. We've come to now master the whole process. You can see that even principals, they've received their papers by 7:30 on their way to their schools back to commence the papers 8:30. You've seen it yourself, so I think we're satisfied.
Nevertheless, there is still more to be done. the state government is not resting on its oars to ensure that a solid educational standard is attained and retained to build young and innovative minds for Ogun State and the nation at large. To further buttress the need for a more qualitative and affordable education in Ogun State, the government embarked upon the construction of model schools in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. On the 23rd of May 2012, the foundation for these schools was laid by the Executive Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun at Ilaro, Yewa South Local Government Area, representing Ogun West Senatorial District, Ljebu for Ogun East, and Abeokuta for Ogun Central. 15 out of the proposed 28 model schools have already attained various stages of completion across the 3 senatorial districts. Some of those visited were Model School in Ilaro, Yewa South, Model School in Onijanganjangan Village, Abeokuta North, Model School along Epe Rood, Ljebu, Model School Shagamu Ikene Road, Ikene, Model School Likosi Village along Shagamu Ikorodu Road, Shagamu, Model School Ijomu Village, Adodoota, Model School Ewekoro, Model School along Ishara Agolwoye Road, Remo North, Model School Agolwoye, Ijebu North. Dr. Tunji Abimbola, Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, gives an insight into what informed the construction of the model schools.
We conducted an analysis, a tour of the facilities and the infrastructure that we have in our school in order to get a sense of where we were and what we should be doing to improve things. And at first we thought it was a matter of just refurbishing, rebuilding, and maybe re-equipping some of the schools. On going around, we discovered that it was much more than that, that even the quality of the schools that we have actually are not fit for purpose, that they will not actually serve 21st century type of learning and teaching. Some of the rooms were not properly ventilated, they were small in size, badly located, the lighting were not good, they were falling apart. So we then decided that we were going to attack this from 2 angles, which is usually the way you do things if you want to transform education. And so we felt that one, we have to put a template on ground to inform people how schools should be built.
As it is now, work is progressing at the different sites. Some engineers explained the peculiarities of the model schools.
It's made up of blocks of classrooms. You have the staff room, then you have the principal's office, the vice principal's office, then there is, we equally have the dining hall, the theater art, then we have set of laboratories, both physics lab, chemistry lab, computer lab, and then we have series of workshops. We have the electrical workshop, and then intro deck workshop and all that stuff. In fact, it's a very big complex.
A school project, you have the main school right behind me, and then you have 2 hostels, 1 female and 1 male. Work has been going on progressively, and then we have tried to increase the tempo so that we can meet up completion date.
Going by the structures and the facilities of the model schools, one can only wonder if it is possible to run the free education scheme as it is being run in the public schools. Dr. Tunji Abimbola clarifies this and also explains how such structures can also be a source of generating revenue.
Be free education, just like what we're doing now. Students actually don't pay for books, for tuition, and all of the instructional materials, but they do pay if they have to use the boarding facilities. So it's going to be the same approach. So nothing will change. We also want to ensure that those schools are not just standing there during holidays, during long vacation, for example. You can do a motivational program there. Companies can actually bring their employees there when students are not on site and can run courses, can do all sorts of summer schools in there, so they can actually generate income. Because the way we've built them is that the classrooms will be world class. There will be big halls in there, workshops in there. The hostel accommodation would also be good standard. So people should be able to come in and hire it and use it for all other things beyond normal day-to-day teaching of students.
The school system is expected to be run based on high standards ranging from the quality of teachers and the number of students expected to be admitted, being that the government intends to impact the best type of knowledge and discipline to all persons in the school.
In terms of admission, of course, it's going to be a competitive one. We're going to advertise, and we expect people to sit for entrance examinations. In terms of even the teachers' recruitment too, of course, it's going to be competitive. It's not going to be that we just employ anybody, and because we're doing all this to ensure that we keep the standard, and we hope to even engage a consultant, and because it's not strictly a school for the elites. No, whether it's irrespective of where, the kind of person you are, the most important is that it's not going to be business as usual. It's going to be very competitive, and it's going to just follow a laid-down procedure.
There is no doubt that one of the numerous challenges faced by many governmental projects is lack of proper maintenance. With this new intervention and the model schools in Ogun State, plans are already on the ground as to how each of the structures can be adequately maintained with little supervision.
As part of running the school, each school has a facilities manager on site, or site manager, and that person will be trained in all sorts of in multi-skilled areas, so plumbing, electrical works, woodwork, and all that. So minor repairs. It's going to have his own little workshop, but remember, we have workshops in the school anyway, so he's going to be able to use those equipment to maintain. But we'll then have a central facilities management setup that will coordinate the activities of all these premises managers across the 28 sites. Part of the training that we're going to give to the head teachers, to the teachers and every user of the school sites will be how to keep and look after the environment. And so we are going to ensure that even our students will be part of that maintenance. If there's a broken chair, they will take it to the woodwork workshop, and it will be a project for them. If we have to paint, because we have building construction on site, and painting and decoration will be part of what they're going to do, the students will paint as part of their own project. And once we begin to do that, we don't have to look elsewhere. On a Saturday, because they're all going to be in boarding house, on a Saturday that could be what they're doing, maintaining the premises.
Indeed, the administration of Senator Ibikunle Amosun has been setting the pace for new ways of doing things in Ogun State. Today, it is known as the OGUN Standard. Through this, whoever is coming on board to be part of the history making in the Gateway State now has a benchmark to follow.
There are applications already lodged with us for people who want to set up private schools. But I think they will now begin to think twice, especially when they see these schools really spring up and they see what they look like. And they now know that this is no joke. If you want to come and set up a private school in Ogun State, there is a standard. It cannot be less than what the public is offering.
There are still other plans by the state government to further reform the educational sector.
This year, we're also turning around the vocational or government and technical colleges, and of course we're sustaining the free education policy. We keep on to ensure that our students still have the textbooks, and of course we keep on training and retraining our teachers. You see, once we put all this in place, the government's commitment is there, the parents' commitment is there, and of course the student commitment, ensuring that they take advantage of the opportunity they have now. I'm sure we will get there.
All the various efforts of this administration in the education sector under the leadership of Governor Ebeokuta have positively affected the lives of so many people, and it is bringing changes to Ogun State as a whole. Good governance is the one thing that can be said to easily touch the life of the ordinary Nigerian. For Senator Ebeokuta, words cannot quantify the good deeds his administration has achieved and is continually doing to give everyone a sense of belonging, especially in the education sector of the state.
I want to commend our government and the governor, Senator Ebeokuta, for free education given to us. If we look at in the past, things that he's doing now has not been done. But for provision of textbooks to our children, to our pupils, the children can be able to read at home, and the parents are the burden of buying exercise books, buying textbooks is no more there because the government has provided for them.
It's going to bring out better students. You know, those students that will be admitted there, they're expected to be special students, I think, and they will challenge each other. It's quite different from all these rural settings where you have here in Jik and Hardy different set of students. And those who